Okay, what's this on Twitter here? Okay, I'm here. Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Hope everyone's having a great day today. It's the start to the weekend.
Good to see you again.
I'm doing good, Curly. Hey everyone, Eric, Drifter, Adrian, Jobby, Xander, Reagan, hey. How many players do you wish for GTA 6 Online to have? Probably 50-player free mode lobbies, but the lobbies have to be big, though. They have to, or the map has to be big. Hey, Manix, thank you for sponsoring my channel for almost 3 years. Thank you, dude. Okay, I gotta find this person here. Did the Mind's Eye satellite minigame? Yeah, I rage. That satellite minigame was the worst part of Mind's Eye. Oh man, the worst minigame. The CPR thing sucked too, but the satellite was the worst. Yeah. I just wanted to pronounce my name's pronounced Xander. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. 1 second, guys. Let me just get a bottle of water. And fix. I think my capture card is also glitching out for a moment. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. Okay. Here. Hello, Pro. I recently helped a guy sell his businesses in GTA Online. I asked if he could help me sell. He said he would. I had 2 million value. He blew me up. What? Oh my god. I'm sorry, Golden Stripe. That's horrible. That's extremely scummy. That's... I don't know why people act like this. I don't know why, you know, some people are like this. It's like, my god. It's like, do some people not have any, like, you know, manners, like, any honor whatsoever? It's just... I just don't get it personally sometimes. Yeah. Some people are just like that, unfortunately. What made you want to be a YouTube gamer? Well, I never planned on it. It was just something that just happened over time. You know, my channel grew and I liked it and, you know, I got into it and I got good at it. What fish? What are you talking about, Bork? Thank you for the super chat. I'd like to see something like a cartel boss be the main villain in GTA 6. Oh, there. Yeah.
Who's that? There! That's them! Don't forget me! Next time, honey! When it's my turn, you're gonna wish I only tied you up. Oh, shit! When I get loose, I'm gonna wring your neck! You damn fool.
Yeah, and I asked him why he did it. He said he wanted to get the money from it, and you don't even get that much money. I think it's like 5,000. It's 2,000 actually. It's much lower than that, Golden Stripe. And I will say though, like, what can I ask you? What level was this guy? Was this guy like a new player? Like what level was he? This guy. And second here. Okay. Well, what level was the guy? Hi, Mark.
No, 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 not again!
Well, that's kind of disgusting, Bork.
Shit. No.
Some YouTuber I watched ended her life due to online harassment. She had an animal rescue organization, was raising money to save Fox. Yeah, people were talking about that on the Yakuza stream yesterday. So there was the Yakuza 0 stream that I was doing yesterday. People were talking about it.
Somebody shoot the bastard.
But the guy who destroyed your cargo, Golden, what rank was this guy?
All right, let's take him out. Throw him in a cell. I'll get your money.
Are you gonna do a review on Mind's Eye? Speaking of that, I'm actually gonna have a video on Mind's Eye tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be a video on Mind's Eye. It's not gonna be a review. It's gonna be like the aftermath of you know, talking about the game. He was ranked 2,000 and I'm 166. Okay, yeah, he was lying to you, Golden Stripe. A rank 2,000 would know that that you get only $2,000 from destroying cargo. He's lying to you. The reason he's saying that is he's using that as an excuse to justify, you know, being a scumbag. The reason he did that was because he was a scumbag. That's the main reason, dude. Oh, next part of Brothers in Arms, it will be probably earlier tomorrow. Are you enjoying the series? I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Purple Heart Lane was the next part that we did, and yeah, it was a brutal battle there. You go to Nevada and compare it to New Vegas? Yeah, I could do something like that.
What the hell?
Thank you, Cayman, for the super chat. Do you think Lang retired from Interpol? No. He got into it because he wanted to stop people that would hurt his country. He probably wants to keep doing that. Well, yeah, my mom, she wants to she wants to retire to Las Vegas. That's where she wants to retire to. But, she's thinking about either a condo or a small house. But she's really terrified of scorpions, though. But I don't know how much of a problem that is there. I know they exist in Las Vegas, but I don't know if they're, how bad this problem can be. Can somebody tell me in the comments, is it, like, a massive problem? Golden Stripes, next time a player does that to you, tell them that they must make, a lot of money working for Rockstar, forcing people to buy shark cards. Yeah, and you got a point, Wolfman. When people do, when people do grief cargo in GT Online, they pretty much are helping Rockstar sell more shark cards. Because think about it, somebody loses their millions of dollars over cargo, they're more inclined to buy a shark card. So yeah. Can my parents speak English? Yeah, somewhat. Their English isn't the best, but they can speak it, yes. Do you think Patsy knew Tony killed his brother? Oh, absolutely. 100%. Definitely. The thing about Patsy is Patsy basically put it aside for business. You know, yeah, that's what I would say, is he pretty much put it aside for business, because he knew that he was powerless against Tony. He basically knew, I can't do anything against Tony, so I might as well be loyal to him. It's like, if I do anything, I'm next. That was pretty much what, yeah. Well, about that is, that was pretty much his revenge, is he wanted to, he was thinking about shooting Tony right there, and then he was at the pool, but he never did anything after that.
You can count it, or you can trust it.
Brian, are the scorpions in Las Vegas like a massive problem? Like, do they come into your house? Like, is it like a really big problem, or are they like rarely seen? Next part, Brothers in Arms, it'll be early in the morning. Who do you think is worse, Colonel Garrett or Dutch? Honestly speaking, probably Colonel Garrett. Because Colonel Garrett got a lot more people killed than Dutch did. You know, his insanity, like when Colonel Garrett went insane, he got a lot more people killed than Dutch. Like, he massacred entire camps of people. Yeah, so like, you know, he called for a holy war, like genocide against other people, so he's even worse than Dutch. No, the scorpions are only in the deserts. But, like, what about the suburbs in, like, Las Vegas, Brian? Like, you know, the small houses that are, like, right around, like, Las Vegas, like, the residential areas. Are scorpions, like, a problem there? Like, will you find them in gardens? Are they, like, on the street? You know, stuff like that. I'm not too concerned about it, personally, but my mom, she's, like, she wants to retire to Vegas, but she's just so terrified of the scorpions, but... I did look up online, and people said that if you're gonna be living in a house in Las Vegas, don't have a tree in front of your house, because if you have a tree in front of your house, the scorpions are gonna shit in the shade. That's one thing I looked up, but generally I found it's not like a massive problem. The Indian bioterrorist cult attack, 1984, Oregon. Wait, what are you talking about, Trapper? It's the first time I'm hearing about this. Wait, what? Would you move with your parents or stay in the Midwest? I stay in the Midwest, but a lot of times I visit my family for, like, you know, several months of the year. So, like, for example, I visited my parents for my birthday, and I'm here, like, you know, June, July, and August, and then, like, September, you know, 3 is when I get back. And so, like, and then in the you know, holiday time, I visit my parents at the end of, you know, November, and I stay, you know, December and a little bit of January, and that's, so I visit for, like, months of the year, so I work online on my computer and YouTube, so I can really, you know, come and go whenever I want. Rajni, wait, what, cult in Oregon? Wait, I've never heard of this. What happened exactly, Trapper? Scariest urban legend you ever heard? I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Do you have someone watch your apartment when you're gone? No. Not really. The thing is, though, is here's the thing is, I have insurance for the stuff that's in my apartment, but even if someone was to break into my apartment doesn't really have any valuables really inside of it. There's really nothing. I don't keep jewelry. I don't keep money. There's really nothing really of value to take in my apartment. The only thing that is of value in my apartment is my TV. It's like a $4,000 TV, but it's big, and so I cannot see somebody stealing that. And then I also have my computer, but that's about it. Like, there's nothing else really of value in my apartment. Nothing. Like, I have less than a few $1,000s worth of stuff in my apartment. There's really not a lot of stuff in my apartment, so I'm not really concerned about that. I have insurance, and I live in my apartment building. To enter the apartment building I live in, you need to have a key fob. So, like, you cannot actually get into the building unless you have a key fob. So there's like there's no way that I'm not concerned that somebody's gonna break into my apartment. I don't think it's gonna happen. My mom taught elementary school. She was a general teacher. She covered a lot of general topics. Someone stealing your cosplay stuff. Yeah, I have some clothes there, sure, but, you know, I can't imagine somebody stealing, you know, my cosplay stuff. Like, you know, imagine somebody just breaks into my apartment and just steals all my cosplay stuff. Like, what are they even gonna do with that? So it's like, you know... Why did Junior desperately want to be boss of the Soprano family? Power struggle thing. Power struggle, pretty much. Oh, what's your question, Ant? Was your mom strict about gaming growing up? Not really, no. You know, I could play whatever game I wanted. The only thing that my mom was strict about is my mom was just strict about school. So, like, that's it. Like, as long as I had good grades in school, my mom didn't care what games I played, really. You know, I could play GTA when I was a kid, like, you know, Vice City and stuff like that. So, my mom didn't care as long as I got good grades. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And when it was the weekend, my mom let me stay up till, like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning playing video games. So, like, Fridays, Saturdays. So, that was, Oh, you made a super chat? I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if I didn't see it. Gonna be back in the Midwest for vacation. Birthday on the 3rd. Oh, happy early birthday, Ant. I'm sorry I didn't see your super chat earlier. Everyone wish Ant a happy birthday, dude. Thank you. Thank you, Ant. Happy birthday. Has your mom watched you play when you were a kid? Yeah, she watched some games. The thing is, my mom did like the GTA games. She did actually enjoy a lot of them, and my mom does know the story in a lot of the GTA games. She does fairly know it. The one she doesn't know is GTA 3, but she knows Vice City's story. She knows that, like, pretty much the majority of the story, and she just remembers that Lance betrays you, so she knows that one. Yeah, she generally liked the GTA games. The game that I played, and this is a game I played when I was an adult. The game that I played when I was an adult that my mom, like, really hated, like, she really hated the game, was Outlast. If anyone knows Outlast, like, literally is, my mom refused to come into my room when I was playing that game. Like, she hated Outlast so much. She said it's, like, a disturbing game. Like, she really didn't like that one. But Outlast is, like, that horror game where you're with the camera in the asylum, and then there's all the crazy people that are chasing you in your night vision camera looking for batteries. So, yeah, that's the game that my mom really hated. Yeah. Do you know what House is? Are you talking about the Doctor TV show?
You all handled that last one real cool. How much you know about my operation?
Not really. I never really read comics growing up.
I got a whole network of distribution.
Why do some people go to college to only have fun and get worthless degrees? Because parents push them to, pretty much.
By water up rivers.
like me, personally, I probably would not have gone to college if my parents, my mom had mainly. My dad was more like chill. He was like, you know, do whatever you want. But my mom was like, you know, telling me you have to go to college, you have to. So
by Stillwater Creek. Get them, okay? I will reward you, all right.
do I have firearms hidden in my apartment? Yes, but I'm not concerned about my firearms getting stolen. The reason for that is because I have it in a giant safe. Like, it's a really big safe, and there's no way that, like, somebody will be able to steal that safe. So it's not gonna happen.
My stomach's awful sour.
Okay, it's not that bad. I pretty much own every business and have $1 billion. I grinded from your, guides in the past, when I was only selling my, my cargo because warehouses were full. Yeah, and I will say something, Golden Stripe. And guys, here's a tip. If you ever encounter, like, a random person on GTA Online, and you don't know whether they're, you know, friendly or not, like, they ask you, like, you invite me to your CEO, I'll help you sell. If you don't know if they're friendly or not, a really good, easy way to tell if somebody's friendly or not is to click on their PlayStation or Xbox profile, because a lot of times these griefers, they are such idiots that they actually have some griefing stuff, like, right on their profile. Like, I've had people that, like, offer to help me, you know, sell, and I don't know who they are, and I, like, click on their profile, and I see, like, you know, I see, like, pictures in the background, like, 1-0, and stuff like that. Like, nope, not inviting this person. Or I'll see, like, you know, videos, like, their YouTube channel is, like, linked, and I'll see, like, videos of them, like, griefing. So, like, that's what I say, is these people are such idiots, like, these griefers, they'll have that griefing stuff all over their profile. Not every griefer, obviously, but a lot of griefers do have that junk all over their profile. So if you're ever unsure if somebody's friendly or not, on GTA Online, just click on their, you know, PlayStation or Xbox profile, and they'll probably have something in the background, some kind of griefing stuff in the background, and that's how you'll be able to tell really quick. This game deserves the same amount of content of GTA Online. God, I feel bad for Red Dead Online community. Thank you, Simba. I agree with you. Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened. It is. This game deserves more love and more support. Why is this guy standing... Oh, okay. Am I gonna do a lore video on Arthur? On Arthur, I think doing a lore video on Arthur would be very difficult, but I could possibly do something on him one day. I wanna do, you know who I really wanna do a lore video on? What character? I really wanna do a lore video on Strauss. Strauss, I really wanna do one on him. But I will do a Strauss lore video when I replay Red Dead Redemption 2. So when I come back to replaying the single player again, I'll probably do a video on him. Thank you, Simba fan. You explained the cult? Pratt there, it was an incident that happened in 1984, and followers of an Indian guru, they, poisoned salad bars in the town of Dallas with salmonella. What? Wait, this is a 1984 cult? Wait, what? I have never heard about this. Just like that guy that intentionally destroyed your cargo while helping you sell it, said LOL, then left. That happened many years ago, but that happened, like, right after the Bikers update came out. It was the 2016. I remember when it happened, too. There is a new activity in GTA Online where you deliver stuff in an armored truck. You get up to 20,000, and there is no cooldown timer. Yeah, I know. I'm actually gonna be trying it out later tonight on my own time, and I'm gonna have a video on the update, another video, like, top 10 tips and tricks on the update, and, I'm probably gonna put that in there, Golden Stripe. I love your lore videos. I also love GTA 4. Thank you, Simba, and thank you, Golden Stripes. Sheena was terrifying. I don't think Sheena was really terrifying. I think she was more intimidating, but yeah, I personally didn't think she was terrifying. Are you a Resident Evil fan? Resident Evil, somewhat. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a fan of the series. Some of the games I like. Like, I like Resident Evil 2. I didn't like Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 I didn't like. I just felt like the story was cringy. I don't know about the newer Resident Evils. I did like Operation Raccoon City. I did like that one. I know a lot of people hated Raccoon City, but I actually did kind of like it. I did play it back in the day. I like the co-op in it, like the 4-player co-op. So I did kind of enjoy that one. But it really depends. Like, some of the games I think were fine, others were, you know. But thank you, Reflex, for the super chat. Who is Sheena? Sheena was she was an Interpol agent in Ace Attorney Investigations, but she was actually an assassin. So she was like, she put on a false identity. She was like a really bad person. But yeah, you defeat her in Ace Attorney. It was a recent playthrough I did. On GTA Online, I'm a grinder. I'm not toxic, and that's a good thing, Simba. I don't know why some people feel the need to be toxic. Alba is probably a psychopath. Yeah, probably is. How do you run your rental properties away from home? There really isn't much to run. Is that sometimes my rental properties, there's months, you know, nothing happens. But the only time I really have to do anything is if something breaks. If something breaks, if, like, my tenants, like, you know, contact me, I'll get right on it, and I'll send, like, a handyman over, and I'll pay them, and, you know, they'll fix it. But that's about it. You know, usually my tenants will, like, you know, text me if something breaks in the home, and, you know, I'll have it repaired, I'll have it changed out, and stuff like that fixed right away. One of my tenants, he wanted to install, like, a new electrical socket in the garage, and he asked me for permission if he could do that. And I told him it was fine, and he called over an electrician, but then the electrician gave him, like, a really, you know, the estimate the electrician gave him, he didn't like it, and he didn't end up doing it. I think why my PS5 is overheating is because my power supply is really dusty. Well, Aiden, it's also about where your PlayStation is. Make sure it's a well-ventilated area. Have you ever had a beef with a tenant? Kind of. But this happened more than 2 years ago. But it was, basically the beef, it wasn't like a beef where we were, like, you know, yelling at each other and stuff like that, but it was basically like a tenant had lied to me and had taken advantage of me, and I was, like, really pissed about it. Pro, you're a great landlord. Thank you, Tactical. Simeon is the type, Saint is the kind of person Trevor would kill. Oh yeah, if Trevor encountered Simeon from Ace Attorney, he'd definitely kill him. Yeah. Unfortunately, in GTA Online, I've been a victim of having my cargo getting destroyed, and it annoys me. Well, Simba, here's a tip. If some idiot tries to blow up your cargo, just close your application, because you only lose 10% of it, and then you can just retry again in a public lobby and get, like, that bonus back. Do I feel sorry for Simeon Saint? In a way, yes. He is a victim in a way, even though he's a bad person. Is that if he didn't have that horrible childhood, like his father just abandons him, and then also, like, Chairman Winter tried to kill him, you know, stuff like that when he was a child. If he didn't have those horrible things happen to him when he was a kid, you know, maybe he would have turned out differently. Because ultimately, Simeon was kind of a victim of what had happened. He lost faith in the justice system because the prosecutor had you know, the prosecutor Chairman Winter at the time was corrupt. The investigator Fifi Lagarde was corrupt, and so he basically lost faith in the entire, you know, judicial system because of that. The thing is, though, when you really think about it, is that Simeon Saint is probably the only villain in the Ace Attorney series that pretty much accomplished everything he wanted to. So, like, he's probably the only villain that ever got everything done that he wanted to. Like, he ended up getting arrested in the end, but everything he set out to do, he got done. So, like, I think, am I wrong on that? Is he the only Ace Attorney villain that pretty much got everything done that he wanted? Like, he got revenge on everybody that he wanted. So, that was, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna upload the video on the cell missions guide, but that's probably gonna be sometime mid next week when I get the chance. Playing with free aim, so you know that I don't play with auto aim, but. So one person asked me earlier if I had a beef with a tenant. I'm just gonna sum up the story really quickly because I've told this story before, so I bet a bunch of other people have heard it. But basically, I had these tenants, and the tenants that I had, they were millionaires. So these guys, they were, you know, way more wealthier than me. They were business people from Oregon, from Portland specifically, and they were roofers. So they ran a roofing company. And what happened with these guys is that it was husband and a wife, and they had run a roofing company from Oregon, and they were expanding out east. And they expanded to Montana, they expanded to Idaho, and then they were coming out east, and they expanded to my state in the Midwest. And so they had like buildings in each state. And when they were coming to set up their operations in my town in the Midwest, they wanted to rent out my house. And while they were, you know, they didn't want to buy another house, so they already owned homes in other states. But they wanted to rent out my house while they set up their business here and everything like that. And what ended up happening with these guys is that they, I remember she texted me within like 2 months of her living there. She texted me and asked, and she told me that her brother-in-law is like coming to like live in the town, and she wanted to know if he could live in the house for like a month or two until he finds his own place. And I said that's fine, that's not really a problem. I didn't charge him anything extra. I said it's fine, you know, go ahead, do it. But then what happened is, a few months later, they were constantly always late on the rent, like one week or 2 weeks. And when I would text them and I would ask them, like, you know, what's going on? You know, why are you late on the rent? I wasn't even like, you know, scummy about it. I wasn't even like rude. I was just like asking them, is there something wrong with my service? Is there something wrong with the house? Like, you know, why are you you know, late on the rent? And she would always say the same thing. She would say, I'm on a business trip in Montana. You know, I'll take care of it when I get back. And the thing is, this was my first tenant. These were my first tenants ever. So this was like my first experience with a tenant. And if I had more experience beforehand, I probably would have reacted differently. But because this was my first experience with a tenant, I didn't really know how to handle the situation. And so, like I said, it's not a problem that they couldn't pay. These were millionaires. They were very rich people. But she was constantly late on the rent, like, you know, 1 or 2 weeks. And then the next month, the same thing would happen. And then she would say, oh, I'm on a business trip in Montana. I'll take care of it when I get. And then I'd wait like a week or two for the rent to come through. This is BS. Like, imagine if I ordered like a roof from them, right? And I had them do, you know, a roof on my house. And then when they asked for payment, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll take care of it in like a week or two. And they wouldn't let that fly. But then they were doing the exact same thing to me, and it was it was getting me irritated. But the thing that finally, you know, really pissed me off in the end was they were moving out, and they said that they didn't want to renew the lease. They wanted to you know, they were gonna go back to Montana. Now what ended up happening is this guy texted me and, you know, and called me really early in the morning, and this random guy, and he basically says to me, you know, hey, you know, I'm living in your house. Can I keep living there? Can I sign a lease with you? And I'm like, who are you? Like, who are you, this person that's calling me? And he said to me that he's like a worker of theirs. So like he works on their roofs, and he was renting out the house. So he was like living at the rental property. I did not allow this. They didn't tell me about this. And then I asked him, I'm like, what happened to them? And they're like, oh, they haven't been living here for months. They went back to Montana. I was like, what? And so like, and then he was telling me that they fired me, and I have like a lawsuit against them right now, and like, you know, me and my wife and daughter are living in the house, and like, you know, don't throw us out and everything like that. And I was like, okay, you know, I have to like look into this, find out exactly what's going on. It was like a, you know, it was like a ridiculous story anyways. But basically, what they were doing is they had got one of their workers to live in the rental instead of them living there, and they were charging him rent. And no, they were charging him rent, and then they were taking that money and then paying me. Like, and I had no idea about any of this going on. But yeah, that was that situation personally pissed me off. And then I told the guy that you've taken care of the property fine, and if you want, I can sign a lease with you. And he ends up signing the lease, but then his wife doesn't sign the lease. And then like 2 weeks later, he calls me. I missed the call. He leaves like this really long voicemail. Like, it's like a really long voicemail. He says his wife decided that she doesn't want to like rent in the house anymore, and he's gonna go to like another place with his wife. And then I said, okay, fine. And so then I started putting out like lease applications for like new people to to live there. And then what ends up happening is then he contacts me and he tells me, his wife changed his mind and he wants to like stay at the property. And I said, okay, fine. And I had like somebody that wanted to like live at the property at that point. We didn't like sign the leases together yet, but I had like somebody, like a family that wanted to live there. And then I told them like, hold on, I got somebody living there. And the guy that wanted to move in got like really mad. He got really upset. And he's like, whoa, what is this? I thought we were agreeing. We didn't sign anything yet, but I told him, look, I had a tenant that's already living there. He has his furniture in. He says he wants to stay. And I don't want to like, if he wants to stay, then I'm just gonna, stay with him. But then what ends up happening is the exact same thing happens. He signs the lease, but then his wife doesn't sign the lease. And then, like, a week later, he sends me, like, this text message saying, my wife changed her mind again. And I was like, oh, my God. It's, like, second time now. And then I didn't want anything to do with them at that point. And, like, both of them pissed me off. Both the rich people, the rich millionaires pissed me off. And then that worker of theirs that was also living in the house, they pissed me off, too. But the really ridiculous thing is, I had a keypad that was in the garage. And that keypad would unlock the door to the house. So there's, like, a door that was actually, like, a wooden door that was in the house. And if you put that keypad number in, it would automatically unlock that door. And whoever was living in that house had changed the keypad code, and they're not supposed to do that. But one of them changed the code. I don't know who did it, if it was like the millionaire family or if there was their worker. I don't know who did it. But one of them changed the password, and I had my handyman come over, a good friend of mine, and I asked him, can you fix this keypad? And he actually took out the panel. He even read the instructions. He tried to change the password. He's like, Pat, they changed the password. I can't change it. And he struggled with it for like an hour. He could not get the password changed. And I asked both of them, like, for the password, and they told me they didn't change it. Both of them denied, like, changing the password when there was clearly a new password that was put on the keypad. But what ended up happening is my handyman, he's told me he couldn't change the password, and he wanted to leave without getting paid. Like, I felt really bad for the guy. He's like, you don't need to pay me. I didn't get anything done. I was like, no. I gave him $20 still because I felt bad for him, because he was like, he tried to fix the keypad, but but he couldn't. He still didn't even want any money for it. But that was pretty much that situation. But I had to get a new keypad installed, and there was like it was like $100 to install that keypad. What is this here? Oh, I guess it's somebody doing a mission or whatever. But yeah, that's what I probably could have taken them to if I wanted to. I probably could have taken that family to court if I wanted to. I probably could have. But I was thinking at the same time too is I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. It's like I don't ever want to see them again. It's like if I take it to court right now, like, what am I gonna win? A few $1,000s at most. It's like, and this is gonna go on for like months and months and months. It's better like this goes away now, and I never have to deal with them again. I'll never have to see them again. I never have to deal with them again, and that stuff. Yeah. So that was basically it. And it really sucks. They were my first tenants. It really sucks because that was my first rental property, and they were my first tenants, and I just had such a bad experience on my first one. So it kind of really did suck. Oh, come on, dude. Like, what the... Hang on, I'm just gonna parlay this. I don't know why this idiot keeps following me around shooting me. Yeah. That's almost creepy. A random person had been living at your property for months and you had no idea. Yeah, I didn't. That was, And the thing about this is I don't do inspections at my rental properties. I don't do it. The reason I don't do inspections at my rental properties is because I feel it's kind of rude. It's nasty. I don't want to barge in on my tenants. Like, I have to, if you do an inspection, you have to give tenants like between 24 to 48 hours notice. It depends on the state, but I don't do any kind of inspections. I don't do them. The only time I do an inspection is when tenants move out. So when tenants move out, then I'll like check the entire house, make sure everything's fine, everything's in good order. But other than that, I don't do, inspections. I know tenants do like monthly inspections. I never do that. The reason I don't do that is because I find it kind of rude. It's like you're basically saying to your tenants, so I don't trust you. You're coming in just, checking all their rooms is creepy. So I don't do stuff like that. Let me see here. It'd be cool to see a lore video on Michael in GTA 5, because I've always wondered why him and his family were so hostile to each other. It's just they drifted apart over time. They adjusted to like a new area, and like I guess Michael was being kind of lazy, and then Amanda was being rude to him, and it just kind of blew up over time. And then their kids got older, and thank you, Simba fan. Honestly, man, your feelings towards Rockstar, I kind of have that same feelings. Honestly, I get frustrated at them mostly. Yeah, thank you, Simba. I do enjoy their games, but I do get pissed at Rockstar for I do get pissed at Rockstar for a lot of stuff they've done. I've been wanting a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. We thought we were gonna get it 2 years ago, but unfortunately we didn't. Do I have any lore videos coming up? Yes, the Reznov lore video. The Reznov lore video will come out next Saturday. So next Saturday I will finally have the Reznov lore video. Or it'll be 2 videos on Reznov. It'll be the first video, like, you know, hidden signs that he wasn't real, and then the other one, like, the whole lore video on, like, Reznov's personality and his backstory and, like, you know, what he wants to do. Speaking of your rental properties, has that one company tried to buy your property again? I had gotten a letter in the mail about, like, a company that wanted to buy my properties again. And yeah, I just ignore it. I kept getting calls from these real estate companies, and they keep wanting to buy my rental properties, like, it's just these large companies, and every single time I tell them no, and then a couple weeks later they call me back again asking me if I want to sell the property. And what happened was, the last time they called me, it was, like, around, like, mid-April, and when they called me, the woman from the real estate company, she asked me, do you want to sell your property? And I said, are you interested in buying it? And then she said, what's your offer? And I said, my offer, $2 million. And she said to me, are you serious, sir? And I said, yeah. And then she hung up. And that was it. And for people wondering, the rental property was worth around $400,000, close to that. So it was basically, I was charging her, you know, 5 times more than what its value was. And I wasn't really serious. The reason I said $2 million is because I wanted them to stop calling me. Because it was getting really annoying constantly. Like, every couple weeks, you want to sell your property? You want to sell your property? Oh yeah, I'll sell the property. You know, give me 5 times what it's worth. And then they hung up. They acted like I was being rude to them. But it's like, literally, I keep telling you no, no, no. And you keep calling me back. It's like, what do you think my answer is going to be? You think my answer is going to change after 2 weeks? It's... Will you play Oblivion Remastered? Also, favorite race? I will play Oblivion Remastered, Rude Vault Boy. But about Oblivion Remastered, I planned Oblivion Remastered near the end of the year. I didn't plan for the game to come out in April. I didn't think the game was gonna come out in April. I was so confused by that. Because I thought that Oblivion Remastered was gonna come out, like, later. It, like, came out of nowhere. My favorite race in the Elder Scrolls games, I played a lot of different races. A lot of times I play the Dark Elf. I also play as the Imperials, Imperials, Dark Elves, and I've played as a Nord a few times, but that's, yeah. How do you feel about Insomniac Spider-Man games? I have the, Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man Insomniac game, but I haven't gotten the chance to do a playthrough of it, but I do want to do it one day. Somehow, I don't have a monthly free chat, but whenever I'll just, super chat. But wow, how long have I been sponsoring this channel? Thank you, and good day. You have always been an awesome and respectful content creator there is. Thank you, Patrick. And you're not able to do the monthly free chat? I don't know why. You have the symbol as being a channel member, like you have the star symbol. So I don't know why it's not letting you do that. But thank you for the super chat, dude. When do you want to do the horse race? We'll probably do one now, I guess, yeah. Well, thank you, Patrick. Your name is green, so you have that channel membership. I don't know why it didn't let you do that. You're the professional. You're the best, a good guy. Thank you, Simba fan. Thank you, dude. Is it worth to buy Red Dead Online? Not if you don't have friends to play it with. No. Yeah, I will mention that about Reznov. About when you shoot him, yes, Golden, I'll mention that. Oh yeah, I gotta feed the horse here. Would you take $2 million if they agreed? Yeah, I probably would. If they offered me $2 million for the house, you know, that'd be, you know, an extra $1,600,000 that I made on top of it. So yeah, I'd take that, but I knew they were never gonna, you know, accept that. So that's I don't really get into drama, Ezekiel. Oh well, play like play a game that I think you really like or you're good at. Like I've made a lot of really good friends over the years. From DMZ, like DMZ and Modern Warfare. I play that. I also play a lot of Hell Let Loose. I met some really cool people on Hell Let Loose that I made friends with. Do you think Trevor would have figured out that Micah was a rat way quicker in Arthur's place? The thing about that is, remember that Trevor didn't realize that Michael was a traitor until, you know, halfway through the story, but I guess that's because he trusted Michael, because Michael was his friend, but Micah wouldn't really be his friend. Honestly speaking, when it comes to Micah, Trevor would kill Micah before he even realized that he was a traitor. He would kill him, like, early on, because Micah would be pissing him off so much. You played House? Wait, House is a game? Have I watched Rush Hour when I was a kid? I remember you said Super Mario Sunshine was your favorite Mario game, and I was surprised by that answer because it's one of the hardest Mario games. I did like it when I was a kid, the GameCube game. I did enjoy it a lot. I did. Okay, let's see here. Bones and House. I've never heard of that TV show. What do you mean, Jonathan? Did I ever watch wrestling as a kid? I watched Raw when I was a kid. I never really watched SmackDown, but I did watch Raw. Well, I will tell you this: the most arrogant agency is not the FBI; it's the CIA. The CIA are definitely the most arrogant agency. Also, I will say about this is uh, almost all forms of law enforcement hate the CIA, like almost everyone. The reason that the CIA is hated by almost all other law enforcement agencies is because of how the CIA interferes all the time. Like, for example, when I went to college and I studied law enforcement in college, I had a professor of mine who was a former DEA agent, that's Drug Enforcement Administration, and he retired in the late 90s, early 2000s. But about his time in the DEA, he told us that the CIA were the scummiest guys to deal with, and he said because when the DEA had information on somebody that was like a cartel boss or somebody they were looking at, when the CIA would come to their headquarters and would demand all the information, all the files, and they had to give it to them. They had no choice. They had to cooperate. They had to work with the CIA. But then when the CIA had information that they needed, the DEA needed, and they asked the CIA would never share anything. So the CIA would constantly demand information from other agencies, but and then they would be forced to give. Other agencies would be forced to give it to them, but then the CIA would never help other agencies or share any kind of information with other agencies, never. So that's generally why the CIA was just so hated, because it would constantly interfere in other, federal agencies, and generally that, not help other agencies, but demand help from them all the time. Why is the CIA so powerful? Because we have idiots in Washington who don't think that it should be cut. Oh my god. Damn. Hate when that happens. Uh... Okay, here we go on this. What unsolved mystery in history interests you? The Dyatlov Pass incident, that happened in the Soviet Union, that unsolved murder. It was like a really creepy story, uh, but it was like there's like so many conspiracies about that. It's never been solved. Have you ever watched the Amazing World of Gumball before? There's a character named Margaret Robinson who's Dmitry Raskolov level psychopath. No, I've never heard of that one. I know the show. Thank you, Shadow Narwhal, but I've never heard of that character. No, I didn't buy Take-Two stock last year. I bought that, last time I bought that was when there was the first GTA 6 trailer. That was like 2023. But would you have sympathy for a teen gang member convicted for murder, then he starts crying in the judge court because he got life in prison? No. No, I think people deserve second chances depending on what they do. So like there are times when like somebody falls in with a bad crowd, it happens, and they get involved like a gang and stuff like that, and they could like they could live a productive life and get back on track and like stop being a scumbag. But the moment that they take somebody's life, life for them is over. They should really receive no forgiveness, because why should they be able to enjoy the rest of their life if the person they killed doesn't? Check DMs after stream. Next retail reaction when, please soon. Also, thoughts on the logic of draft declaration, age versus minimum age to drink. I'm gonna do a video on next week on retail tips. I'll do one. Elijah kind of did lose his mind, Vault Boy, in Dead Money. Yeah. Yeah, Sebi, you got put in these races with like a ton of people here. Who's more evil, Todd or Gus? Todd, yeah. Todd seems like he has just complete cold-blooded. No, 4th of July, I'll probably do like a stream of something. I want to do like a patriotic game for the 4th of July, but I don't know what game I can do. Can anybody recommend me like a patriotic game to play on 4th of July? I don't know what I could play. I'm thinking of that one. Bro Force, you're saying, huh? Does Todd care about Walter and Jesse? No. He respects them. There's a difference. Thoughts on what logic blinded Eagle? What? What? I... Lap 202 now, here we go. Oh, come on. Seriously, like, you know, I cannot stand when people do stuff like that. Like, I don't know who did that just there, but... Ah, great. What are your thoughts on the fact that we have to declare for the draft at 18? Um, uh, uh, and one moment, Blinded Eagle. Uh, that people have to declare. Well, you're talking about selective service. Selective service is a uh selective service is that's when you're 18, you're generally supposed to get something like that in the mail. And yes, it's kind of ridiculous that somebody can join the military at 18, but they cannot they can't drink until they're 21. Well, the thing about that is I can imagine Storm either went undercover in 63 days, or he Gunner, or he joined the Cursed Soldiers. That's probably what might have happened. I actually the developer of the 63 days, I actually when I played their game, I actually sent them an email afterwards, and I told them that they should make a sequel that takes place with the Cursed Soldiers. I don't know if you know what the Cursed Soldiers are, Gunner. Do I know about the Lost Colony of Roanoke? Yeah, I know about that story. It's really creepy. It is. For people that don't know what the Lost Colony of Roanoke is, uh, Roanoke is a it was a colony. I think it's in Virginia. But this happened in like the 1600s. It was like one of the first English colonies in America. There was a town there, the Roanoke colony. The captain that was at the town, he went back to Britain to get supplies, and he stayed in Britain for like a few months. And when he left, they still had plenty of supplies left. But when he came back to the town a couple months later, the town was completely abandoned. Like nobody was there, nobody, and there was like no sign of a struggle. And so like people don't know what happened. There was like some trees in the wild that like the trees had like markings of like a Native American tribe. And like the most common theory is that the Native Americans came and took the people away from the town, but it's unknown whether the people went voluntarily with the natives or whether they were kidnapped. Some people think that the people went to go live with the natives because they ran out of food. That's what's the common theory is. Must be aliens. Well, actually, that's actually one of the conspiracy theories. One of the conspiracy theories is that the colonists were actually abducted by aliens. That's actually one of the conspiracies, but we know that that's BS. It's probably the Native Americans probably abducted the colonists, or they went to go live with them willingly. The Cursed Soldiers were Polish freedom fighters. They were a lot of them were former Polish military, and they actually had like their own uniform. That they dressed up as a Polish military officer, and they fought against the Soviets. They fought against the Soviet occupation of Poland after after World War II. The Cursed Soldiers, the last Cursed Soldier was actually killed in combat in the 1960s. So in the 1960s, they were actually killed by the Soviets. So there was a resistance that was in Poland for over 20 years. But the last Cursed Soldier died in like the 1960s. I think it was maybe even early 70s that happened. They lived in the woods. They lived in the forests, and they constantly would ambush the Soviets. Modern Russia sees the Cursed Soldiers as terrorists, but in Poland they're seen as freedom fighters. But look them up when you get the chance, Gunner. If you like history, you'll probably be interested. Cursed Soldiers. That's they're called Żołnierze Wyklękli in Polish. That's what they're called. Hey, what's up, Joker? Damn. Okay, I'm gonna... Hang on. Are we able to lock onto them with the bows? Because... What guy? What are you talking about? Funk? What is going on over here? What the hell? Oh, crap. What? What just happened? What? How did I die? I don't... What just... What was that? What just killed me? I'm just really confused right now. What on earth was that? Oh, great. This, gotta hit this here. Storm made contact with Anders' army, and they arranged for his decision to the west, but do you think that he would be fine with leaving? No, I don't, I don't think so. I really hope that they would, I really hope that they would make more games on that. But you really like the story in 63 Days, right, Gunner? What are your thoughts on Leslie Benzies? I used to have a lot more respect for him, but ever since Mind Eye, the fact that he had just released the game in that terrible of a state, that's... I don't know what he was thinking. Nice hat, thank you, Tony. How I heard about a guy called Andre Chikatilo. He was a horrible human being. If you haven't heard of him, you should look him up. He was really messed up, but I've never heard of him. Who's that? You try to complete GTA 5 while crashing? Oh my god, I wouldn't be able to do a challenge like that. I'd get too frustrated. Vice City Stories is a great game. It's sad what happened to Vic in the end, though. He was a Soviet serial killer? Huh. Well, I hope they make a sequel to 63 Days, One Day Gunner. Would I rather live in a zombie apocalypse, Days Gone, or Last of Us? I'd rather live in the Days Gone universe than live in the Last of Us universe. The virus in or the parasite in Last of Us is just so terrifying. Okay, let's quit the free mode here. No more of these races. Exit with posse. Wait, what, Brian? When will I upgrade my main gaming PC? Don't know if I really need to. My gaming PC is pretty strong, and I don't really feel need to necessarily upgrade it at the moment. Okay, no, I don't think I would ever want to be a pilot. The only thing I'll say, Zach, is that every single place that socialism has been tried, it has not worked. Like, you look at what socialism's done in Venezuela, it took a great country and completely destroyed it. Do you think Aiden's baton is the highest quality baton you've ever seen? Yeah, the foldable baton is just really cool that he has in Watch Dogs. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see if there is a GTA 4 remaster coming out, but...
I have finished this batch. We can sell it when you... Allons-y! Good! You have arrived. Bon. You are
ready to drive, yes? Our clients are a little impatient for sure. We wish to make a good impression. These customers have shown they have some good taste. Their palate is simple, of course, but given their lack of culture, I have to admit that they have chosen well. These jugs will arrive quickly and in one piece. Yes?
Hey there, Pro. Been watching the stream for a bit, but haven't commented yet. I really hope New York City. Well, I'm just not gonna get involved in the whole politics. But thank you for the thank you for sponsoring my channel for 3 months. 3 months, Mario. But yeah, just the politics, especially like New York politics. It just I just personally just don't want to get into it though. Oh no, Vertical. Maybe when I was younger. Not now, though.
Easy that wagon right now. Death is all you deserve.
Yes. Going to Quaker's Cove. It's not too far from here. I just started retail at ShopRite, and I'm a cashier. And so far, I've met very arrogant people who act like they've never tried something new before. Yep. That's the thing is, when I started working in retail, I never imagined that some customers could be so rude and nasty, but it's just completely changed my view on that. Yeah, many customers can be very entitled. I don't know Adam Punk. I don't know that game that well. Oh, I want to play Ready or Not. Yes, that game I do want to play. A terrible place, Ant-Man. My manager quit his job today. I'm the only person left working there starting in July, which means I could be working plus 70 weeks. Should I keep this job? What is this? Is this like a retail place? What kind of place is this? Somebody 32? Cigar store. Here's what I would do. If your manager quit, and because you're gonna be working more hours now because your manager quit, and I'm assuming they're also gonna put more responsibility on you at the same time too, because your manager quit. So they're probably gonna expect you to do some tasks that you normally didn't do that your manager did. I would tell them, if you want me to work more and you're giving me more responsibilities, then I want a raise. That's what I would tell them, somebody 32. That's not unreasonable to ask. If they're expecting you to work more, then it's not unreasonable to ask them for a raise. Have I seen the movie Falling Down? Yes, the 1990s movie. I've seen that movie when I was a kid. That was, I remember that movie. The guy just snaps, he just gets mad, and, that movie deals with just so many problems at the same time, too. I think my favorite scene in that movie is when he confronts the construction guy, and he tells him that he knows how it works. If you don't use the money that you get this year, you won't get the same amount next year. So they're constantly trying to, it's like a scam. The construction workers are just constantly trying to find something to fix, even if there's nothing to fix. Do I have a favorite video game from the 1990s? Probably Mega Man Legends, yeah. Mega Man Legends is an iconic game from the 1990s. Also like the Cypher Filter games. Do you remember the Magic Treehouse books from the 1990s? I think so. I remember the zoo books stuff, like the books on like the animals, like those yeah, like the 1990s commercial about like we're learning on all the wildlife and stuff like that. Those that commercial was spammed so much when I was a kid.
Come on, untie me, won't you? Oh! Good God, no! You mean son of a bitch.
What are your thoughts on the South Korean military governments during the second half of the 20th century? Well, South Korea was a dictatorship, but at least, you know, people's property weren't, you know, taken. Private property rights were respected for the most part. Not like North Korea. North Korea just relied on the Soviet Union and China to fuel its economy. But then, you know, afterwards, when, you know, South Korea became a democracy, you know, the military governments were gone. It was, you know, it's one of the most successful states in the world today. And my name is Kick Hoppa, because I'm always ready to kick it up, Hoppa. Well, thank you, Kick Hoppa, the Cayman Rider. Thank you for the super chat, dude. Have I seen Training Day? Isn't Training Day the movie with the corrupt cop in it? New Jack City? No, I've never seen that movie. Yes, I've heard of that game. I've played it a long time ago, Golden Stripes. But I personally like Hell Let Loose the most. Hell Let Loose, I think, is better than that one. What's wrong with Agoras? Do I play any tactical realism games similar to Hell Let Loose? Not really, just Hell Let Loose mainly. Yes, I will, Mr. Hopkins. Yep. Wait, what, Menace? Have I ever seen Office Space? I think you'd like that movie. I haven't seen it. No, I've never seen it. What's the movie about? Thank you, somebody32. What feature or change would I like to see in GTA 6 Online? I would like to see not people don't appear on the radar anymore, like similar to Red Dead, where they only appear when they're close to you.
Get these damn
What's the
ropes
most
off.
realistic multiplayer game you've played? Hell Let Loose.
Damn will take you.
Yeah, Hell Let Loose, I would say. I don't know what that place was like, Gunner. Bloom and Rage, and I know Life is Strange, but what is Bloom and Rage? I've never heard of that one. Atom Punk's where the settings like Fallout or Atomfall. The game that your mod Brandon stream, would you rather live in that or Zombie Apocalypse? I don't know. It depends on what kind of apocalypse it is. It's on Office Life in the 90s, and it's a comedy about the working class in the 90s. It's a weird movie. I can't say much or I'll spoil the movie. Oh, okay. I missed what, Menace? Who's more evil, Big Smile Lee or Claude? Lee. Lee just did more horrible things over time, but Claude at the same time has no, remorse for anything. Or what do you think about the Vietnamese boat people? Are you talking about the people that left Vietnam when the communists took power and they came to America? Is that who you're talking about?
You mean son of a bitch.
Have I played Squad 44? No. I know the game. It's on PC, but I haven't played it, no. No, Eldragon, I haven't. Bro, I ordered a pizza and nothing happened. They charged me and never came. How far do you think I should take this, other than a negative review? Well, what did they say? Did they claim that they delivered the pizza to you? Did they claim that, Mythagoras? Because the thing is, if you never got the pizza that you ordered and they're claiming that you got it, then you could actually press for fraud. You could accuse them of fraud, basically. I think it's a form of fraud if they don't deliver the services that they provided. Even if it's just pizza, you paid for the pizza and you were entitled to the pizza. You paid for it, you should get it. No, I haven't, Brian, but a lot of people have recommended it to me. I played that one.
You mean son of a bitch.
Well, they had a different ending plan for her, Mason, but the actress that played Livia passed away, and so they changed that because of that. Is it true that most cities in the US are more car-centric and are not that pedestrian-friendly? I saw this video where this guy was walking around in LS and explaining how it's not pedestrian-friendly. You mean Los Angeles? But yes, a lot of cities in America are more car-centric. A lot of like places there's not a lot of public transportation. Like you need a car in America. You need it to basically get around everywhere. The app, it was said it was delivered on the app. What kind of app is this? Is this like a delivery app? Is this like DoorDash, Uber Eats? Like what is this, Mythagoras? Because you can file a complaint with them, the delivery app. You should be able to, and you can like make a ticket. Wait, what do you mean, zombie? I'm confused. Was Kenny justified in smashing Larry's head in The Walking Dead? No. I don't think so. Because they didn't know whether he was truly dead or not. So no, as scummy as Larry was, I don't think Kenny was right to do that. Just Eat? I've never heard of that app. Is this like a European app or something? But you should be able to make a complaint on the app. I had a driver that stole my food once for Uber Eats, and I contacted Uber Eats, and they gave me a refund. Does New York City have a big Russian community as portrayed in GTA 4? Oh yes. The Russian community in New York City, they live mostly in Brighton Beach and also in Coney Island.
Good God, no!
What minifig? No, I haven't. Or it might have been one of the prisons I covered in my, it sounds, is that Vietnamese, Golden? It might have been one of the prisons I covered in my videos, but,
The devil take you! I want nothing to do with this.
I have never heard of the app Just Eat. I've never heard of it. I know Uber Eats and DoorDash, that's what people use, but I've never heard of Just Eat. I guess it's a European thing.
Holy hell!
What do you think about theocracy as a form of government? What would you do if America becomes a theocracy? You mean like Iran? It's, theocracy is a disaster. It's a terrible system. Religion should never be in control of the government. It should never, Government should just stay out of religious affairs in general. It's, you know, the American founding fathers, they never wanted religion in government, and, I don't think it's a bad thing if people are religious, or they, you know, even very religious. I just don't want, you know, government basing it on, policy on religious law, personally. But theocracy, that's, yeah, that's, you got something like Iran, basically.
I swear I'm gonna find you!
How long do you have to wait to get the max payout? I think it's like 10 or 12 minutes, Jesse, but we usually don't wait that. We just wait a few minutes.
The devil take you!
What do you mean they're having problems streaming, Sasquatch?
I know it isn't always easy, but I'm glad you brought them to face up to things.
How them coins look for your efforts?
Okay. Do I think Billy Gray is similar to Dutch? Not really, because Billy had bad intentions from the start. I think Dutch had some good intentions, but just went mad over time. Okay, I'll see you, Mark. Take care.
Mister.
Best pizza slice in New York? I don't know, I just always generally like a pepperoni slice of pizza. How do I join your game? Well, you'd have to have me at it or one of my friends at it in here. Do I think Santa Fe or Las Venturas will make an appearance in the HD universe? I really don't know if they were supposed to be in the map at Spanish and DLC for GTA 5. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I don't think they were supposed to be in GTA 5's map. Let's see here. What do we do now? Guess maybe do one more bounty here. He was walking around pretending to be a pedestrian in GTA 5, and he said Los Santos is not pedestrian friendly, and it's like LA in real life. He walked from his apartment in GTA 5 to the Los Santos airport in GTA 5. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of American cities don't have, you know, good public transportation. Like, you're supposed to rely on cars. Do I like White Castle? I haven't had White Castle in years. Is it that island, that's, like, south of Vietnam? It's part of Vietnam, but it's, like, that island that, like, that prison island that, like, France built, and, like, put, like, Vietnamese freedom fighters in there, and then the South Vietnamese government used it afterwards. Is that what you're talking about, Golden? Do I like or dislike roller coasters? As long as it's not, like, you know, an insane one. Generally, I do enjoy some roller coasters. It's not the really, you know, insane ones. You know, I'll tell you guys something. I'll tell you guys a really funny story. One of my friends who hasn't played GTA Online in, like, years, a couple years ago, he logged in for the first time, right? And I was there with him in the party when he logged in, and when he was playing for, like, a little bit, and then out of nowhere, he's like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that thing? And I was like, what? And he's like, there's some guy in some flying thing that just blew me up. And I was like, oh, that's an Oppressor Mark II. He's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's a flying motorcycle. You can just spawn with your MC menu anytime. And he's like, when did they add that? And I was like, oh, they added that with, Nightclub DLC with the, as drip feed for the terabyte. And then he just says, that's effing stupid. that was one of my buddy's reactions the first time he played in years. He hasn't seen an Oppressor Mark II, and that was a pretty funny reaction. I remember that one. What's good, man? Love your content. Thank you, Nero Gaming. Thank you, dude. No, I didn't know that, Gunner. Who is the most incompetent faction in World War I, in your opinion? Most incompetent faction? At the start of the war, I would say it's Italy. Probably Italy. Italy got a really good army in the, at near the end of World War I. At the end of World War I, Diaz, when they had General Diaz, he did a really good job. But when they had Luigi Cardona had destroyed the Italian army. Like, he was a stupid general. Like, he got so many Italian soldiers killed. Such an idiot. So it would say Italy was probably the most incompetent at the start of the war, I would say. I never thought you would reply to my DM, Patrick. Well, thank you, Greens, for the super chat. Thanks, dude. Oh, did he? I didn't know that, Gunner. Do I know about the first Indochina War? Yes, that's when Vietnam fought against France. Yes, I know about that one. Would I ever consider going golfing? Maybe, yeah, maybe I would. It is definitely a very cool mission, Somebody 32. Standing roller coaster? What's that? I'm trying to find this guy here. What do I think about Conan O'Brien? I like Conan. Conan isn't annoying like Jimmy Kimmel. Like, Jimmy Kimmel's the worst, but, like, Conan seems like an alright guy that he tries to make generally everyone laugh and, you know, doesn't get involved in the drama and the nonsense. Like, you know, Fallon and Kimmel are just annoying, but I never really had a problem with Conan, personally. Left 4 Dead, I want to play it one day, yes. How do you keep your food from spoiling when you're away from home? Just clean out the fridge. Basically, I don't keep a lot of food in the fridge, and, that's... Did we find this guy? I like the modding in Left 4 Dead 2, and it allows me to mod Kane and Lynch and Deacon into the game. Wait, Kane and Lynch are mods in Left 4 Dead? I didn't know that. That's actually cool. Did they actually add voiceovers from the games too for them? Oh, I don't know, Jonathan. How many protagonists will be in GTA 6? Most likely 2. Jason and Lucia. Well, I would imagine it probably wouldn't be that difficult. They just take the lines that they have from Kane and Lynch 2 and 1 and just put them in the characters for that. Bro, would I rather be in a World War I airplane of my choice or in a World War II submarine of my choice? Or if it was after they started using parachutes, World War I, the planes. You want me to tell you guys something really scary? Something really scary about World War I. A lot of people don't know this about World War I. Most pilots in World War I did not have parachutes. They didn't. And here's the thing. Parachutes were actually developed 20 years before World War I. So it wasn't necessarily a new technology. But does anybody here in the comments know the reason why pilots didn't have parachutes in World War I? It's actually a pretty disturbing reason. It had nothing to do with finance. It had nothing to do with finance. If Vertical is right, Vertical put the right answer. The reason that pilots in World War I weren't given parachutes is because the aristocrats who were mainly in charge of, like, the aristocrats were a lot of generals, they were like the elitist families. They believed that it was dishonorable to jump from your plane and escape from your plane. They thought that that if you had parachutes, pilots would escape from their planes and they'd be cowardly and they wouldn't fight. And so they didn't give them parachutes because of that. That was the reason. The Red Baron didn't even have a parachute. People don't know that. He didn't. So, in Battlefield 1, when you see people constantly jumping out of the planes and parachuting, no, they'd fall to their death. They didn't have parachutes. Pilots only started having parachutes at the end of the war.
Son of a bitch.
I think that Deacon and Boozer would have killed Brian. They weren't as reliable. It's not about being reliable. It's just that the aristocrats, they didn't want to give their soldiers parachutes because they thought they were dishonorable. I will also tell you guys something really stupid. There was an Austrian general. I have to look this up again. But there was an Austrian general that did not want to give his soldiers machine guns in World War I. And the reason for that, he said that machine guns were dishonorable. He said that rifles were more honorable to use. And so he didn't give his soldiers machine guns, and his soldiers got overrun. And that was, you had, like, those really stupid aristocrats, like, they had, like, their honor and their ways of fighting, and they tried to apply that to World War I, and it didn't work. It was a total disaster.
So, you have one more for me? In here. What the hell am I doing?
I don't know, I just know he was an Austrian general, but he didn't want his soldiers to have machine guns. How about they go and fight instead, yeah? Well, here's the thing is, World War II was a very different war than World War, World War II, I would say, is a very different war than, the generals were very different than World War I. Here's the thing is, the generals that were in World War II were World War I veterans. Like, the generals that were in World War II were, like, 18, 20 years old when they fought in World War I. So they were, 40s, 50s, 60s. That's how old the generals were in World War II. The generals in World War I were in their 70s and 80s. That's how old they were. And here's the thing is, the generals that were in World War I, they did not become generals because of their hard work. They became generals because they were aristocrats. They came from these specific bloodlines, these specific families, prestigious families in Europe, and they were given their positions because of that. Like, for example, Luigi Cardona, who was the worst general in World War I, he was the main general of the Italian army in World War I. He was he was given his position by the Italian king, King Emanuele, because of his aristocratic bloodline, and he was one of the stupidest generals ever. You know what he did? He had this really weird obsession with the Roman Empire, and what he did was, he did decimation, which was like an ancient Roman punishment. So what he did was, if his soldiers tried to retreat, he would have them shot. So if soldiers tried to retreat, he would machine gun his own troops down. But on top of that, if they lost the battle, what he would do is he would line up all of his soldiers, and he would go down the line, and every single 10th soldier he would execute. So he would just go down the line of all the soldiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and every 10th soldier he would execute. He did that as a punishment for whenever people lost battles. And as you can imagine, the Italian soldiers really hated him. They really hated him. And they really despised him. But he tried to use ancient Roman tactics on a World War I battlefield. He had this weird obsession with Rome. He was like a complete idiot, worst general of World War I. Here's the thing is, the Battle of Caporetto, which was Italy's worst military disaster in history, during the Battle of Caporetto, he forced his entire army to basically charge the Austrian-Hungarian positions. And do you know what happened? When the Italian army charged the Austrians, the second they got to the Austrian lines, instead of fighting, they surrendered. They immediately surrendered. They literally wanted to take their chances with the enemy, surrendering to the enemy, than they did actually going back, because they knew that they would have gotten executed. So literally, it backfired because his entire army surrendered to the Austrians. And what happened was the French and the British, they got so angry because Italy was about to lose the war. Like, Italy was about to get completely kicked out of the war. And France and Britain got so mad that they told the Italian king that if he does not remove that general, that they will cut all support to Italy. And then the king finally removed Cardona. And then Diaz took over. And Diaz was actually a really good general. But the thing is, Cardona had destroyed the Italian army so badly that they were not able to Italy was not able to launch another attack for 2 years. For 2 years, they weren't able to launch another attack because he destroyed the Italian armies first that badly. So for 2 years, the Italians were defending. And then it wasn't until 1918 they launched a massive offensive against the Austrians, and then they won. The thing about this is, the generals that were in World War I, a lot of these guys, they grew up when they were young, where people would basically walk up in fields and shoot at each other with muskets. That's when you really think about that. They did. They saw muskets, and then they saw the invention of the bolt-action rifle. So, like, they saw the invention of smokeless powder. Why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? Japan attacked Pearl Harbor because Japan had gotten over 90% of their gasoline from the U.S. before the war. What happened is that Japan and the U.S. were actually trading a lot. They did. So the U.S. and Japan were generally on friendly terms before World War II. Like, we traded a lot with Japan. Japan traded with us. We had a pretty open relationship with them. And we also trained Japan's military. We did. So America actually sent, like, military advisors to Japan to train their military to help them resist, like, the French and the British. And the British and the French hated us for that because they wanted to colonize Japan. And so, like, one of the reasons that Japan did not get colonized was because of America. Because America helped Japan out tremendously. And America also helped train and modernize Japan's military. And how did Japan thank us for that? You know how they thanked us later for that, Pearl Harbor. But anyways, what I was getting at with Japan is Japan attacked the U.S. because even though the U.S. and Japan had a pretty friendly relationship, the U.S. was supplying 90% of Japan's gas actually came from the U.S. So we were the reason that Japan had 90% of their gasoline. What happened was Japan invaded China in 1937. And when Japan invaded China in 1937, Japan did some really horrific things, like some really, really bad things. Like they committed mass murders, giant massacres. They did some really, really nasty things. And a lot of Americans had actually worked with China, and we actually had an open door relationship with China. We traded a lot with China in that time, and a lot of Americans that were in China had reported that back to the U.S. about the atrocities that Japan was doing, and the U.S. government at that point had told Japan that to stop your invasion of China, pull out. If you don't, there will be consequences. And Japan refused to listen. And what happened was the U.S. decided to embargo Japan. They cut off their oil. Now Japan lost 90% of their oil supply. And then Japan had either two choices. They could either pull out of China and continue trading with the U.S., but they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to pull out of China. They wanted to conquer China. And so now the second option, what they decided to do, is they decided to push into Southeast Asia and take over the oil fields in Indonesia from the Dutch. To fuel their war machine. And so what Japan basically did was they knew that we would probably get involved if they did that. And so Japan then attacked Pearl Harbor. They bombed Pearl Harbor. They thought that they'd knock us out of the war early. And then they took over Wake Island, Guam. They invaded the Philippines. But then it didn't work out well for Japan in the end. Do you recommend any history books? I haven't really read much history books. Most of my reading just comes from online and watching documentaries. Honestly speaking, I don't really like reading books that much. If I'm going to read something, it's going to be either online or I'm going to be watching a documentary. I come every Friday just to get a history lesson. Thank you, Posted. Thanks, dude. You can mod Clementine from Telltale's The Walking Dead into Yakuza 0 as a character, huh? I wonder if there's a mod for Left 4 Dead where you can mod Agent 47 into Left 4 Dead. I wonder. There's got to be a mod for that. Yeah, they know, Greens. Not even the newspaper? Well, I read newspapers. I read, the news. But if you're going to read the news, it's important to get the news from multiple sources. Don't just get it from one source. See here, not that far from Tumbleweed now, okay. You also modded Vito Joe Tommy for the, Mafia games into Left 4 Dead 2. Yeah, I remember those Goosebump books. I read those when I was, some of them when I was a kid. I'm gonna be doing a video tomorrow on Mind's Eye, talking about what basically happened, with the game. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna go do some poker right now. Do you think Mind's Eye had potential when you made that video back in 2023? I think Mind's Eye did have potential. I think it did. I know some people might disagree with me, but I think it could have been a good game. It could have been. But the game needed a year. And a year more. Like, that game should not have been coming out at this point. Like, if they would have delayed that game until Christmas, like, even until Christmas this year, they would have released that game this Christmas. That game would have been so much better if they released it this Christmas. Like, it would not have suffered for so many issues. But no, it's like they didn't want to delay it. They wanted to rush it out. They wanted it to be a competitor to GTA 6, and they decided to, now is the time, and it didn't work out in the end. Didn't work out well. Well, I think it should have had more activities, Zach, yeah. Mind's Eye constantly just forces you into the story like this. It's a never-ending break from the story, basically. What's your question, Zach? Is Dan Houser even working on anything right now? Oh, thank you, Def. I'll see you. I did actually like the city. The city I liked in Mind's Eye. Like, at night, especially, the city looked nice, especially from a distance. The streets itself didn't seem that lively, but I did like the casinos and, like, the big buildings and stuff like that, or I should say the hotels, because casinos are technically banned in Red Rock, but it's, When are you gonna do Half-Life? When I'm finished with Brothers in Arms. I think I'm pretty close to the end of the game, because when I looked at the chapters, I just completed Purple Heart Lane, by the way, Gunner. That's where I just got up to, and I actually did a video. I did like 20 minutes. I spent in the part talking about what happened at Purple Heart Lane. Why didn't Beverly pay Franklin? Because he was a scumbag. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna talk about it too tomorrow, Zombie. I'll talk about it. I hope everything's okay, Jade. Oh, so the Waffen SS are gonna make an appearance in Brothers in Arms. Okay. I got a question, Gunner. Do you see any of the do any of the Fallschirmjägers have the FG-42? Because I haven't seen it in Brothers in Arms, but that's what they would be. A lot of them would be carrying that. It was a paratrooper rifle. It was designed specifically for Fallschirmjägers. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet in the game. No, it's in the sequel. At the start of the game, when you have that scene right at the beginning of the game, with the tank and then Leggett gets hit, were those guys SS that you were fighting? Because I noticed that they had the oak pattern, and typically the SS they wore the oak camouflage pattern. Lincoln Clay's voice actor is Hernandez. I feel really bad for the guy because when Mafia 3 launched, it was a buggy mess. But at least Mafia 3 recovered because Mafia 3 was overall a fun game. It was. It just was really glitchy at the start. But overall it became, a fun game. But Mind's Eye, I just feel so bad for the actor because he tried. Like Hernandez did try. He did try really badly in Mind's Eye. He did a generally a good job. Like I had no problem with his acting whatsoever in the game. It was just that one really cringy line that he said at the end of the game where where they were saying, oh, it's the harvest, and then Diaz says, we are the crop, or whatever that was. That was like a cringy line. But for the most part, he did a pretty good job. But I feel bad for the guy because he tried really badly, and then like imagine that because he probably spent over a year working on that acting, and so like imagine that you spend like a year, acting, working really hard on this project, like just dedicating your time, trying your absolute best, hoping for this game to succeed, and you worked really hard as the lead actor, and then they released a game that's like a buggy mess. So like I'd be pissed if I was the main actor, and so I feel bad for the guy. I do. He worked hard, he put time in, and isn't Hell's Highway, isn't that Operation Market Garden, Gunner? Are these all actual players? Yes. You taught me some facts about World War I and World War II that I didn't even learn in school. Oh, thank you, Otavier. I'm glad I was able to help out. Let me see what's Zach's message. Would I be open to playing the Unreal franchise? Please look it up, especially Unreal Tournament. I heard about that game. It was like wasn't it like a PS3 game? Yeah, I'm always open to playing anything. Well, we have kind of like portraits of generally what Genghis Khan looked like. Well, he probably figured it out that Diaz was the big shot in Vice City, and then Tommy took over. Yes, I know that, El Dragon. And then in Revelations, you see the Mongolians attack also. Yes, he did, Zip. I think that Genghis Khan died in the Assassin's Creed universe because he got his, shot with a bow and arrow off his horse. I think that's how he died. I could if I have time, Gunner. But I can imagine that Hell's Highway is probably going to be more brutal than Road to Hell 30, because Operation Market Garden was a tactical failure. Most historians agree that it was a disaster, that it was a failure. Like, they were trying to end the war by Christmas, and they overestimated the German defenses. Unrelated, who's your favorite Sopranos character? Um, Probably Patsy. Yeah, I'd say probably Patsy. Thank you, Jolie Mia. I think I've already met him, in Purple Heart Lane. Gunnar, do you know the game Hell Let Loose, by the way? Hey, Weck, how are you? Well, Spoons barely had any coverage. You know, it was Patsy just and the thing is, Patsy was not created as a character until after Spoons' death, because they liked the actor so much that they decided they're gonna, you know, create like a twin for him. In Hell Let Loose, when you play as the British Army, you can actually play as the Polish paratroopers that were in the British Army in Hell Let Loose. Yeah, it's an outfit. It's a skin that you buy, but it's the outfit that the Polish paratroopers wore. Thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 3? Who should it be? I would like to see them follow a Jack Marston storyline, Francisco, and like see where he goes, what he does. Ordering Spoons' death was the biggest mistake of Tony's life. I think that uh I think it definitely caused problems. But are you implying that Patsy killed Tony at the end? Is that what you're implying? What are good hotels in Las Vegas? Stay away from Oyo. Oyo you want to stay away from. I don't know if there's really proof that Patsy killed Tony, because yes, Patsy was angry about his brother, but here's the thing is, Patsy's son was marrying Tony's daughter, so he was gonna have a really high position with the family at that point. So really, there was no point to killing Tony at that point. And he got really excited when his son was marrying Meadow. He got really excited about that. So I don't think that Patsy killed Tony. I don't think so. I don't buy that theory. Is Patsy the guy in The Sopranos who threatens the girl from the car dealership? Yes. Gloria. He threatens her, yes. Oh, I've never heard of that one. Gunner. What's that game like? Queen and Ace. Yeah, look at that there. Which GTA story do you think sucks the most? I don't think really any of them sucked. I think they're all good in different ways. I have Gunner, yep. The full-length Gunner. If I went to Vegas, I just want a good hotel. It's not dirty. Stay away from oil. Don't go to oil. Don't. No, don't go to oil. I went to oil last year. Oh man, it was no. Oh man, I still have the bad memories from it. Red Dead Redemption 3, Landon Ricketts, Black Bell, or Sadie Adler for the game. What are your thoughts, Professional? I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but I don't want another prequel because we know how the story of these characters ends, Francisco. So I want you know, a story that we're not gonna know how it ends. I want, you know, Jack's storyline, like a new character. I want like a brand new storyline. That's what I want. I know Luxor is a nice hotel, but get the tower rooms at the Luxor if you're gonna go there. I usually go for lethal takedowns in stealth games, Gunner. I know you said you're not very interested in Spider-Man, but are you still gonna play them and when? I want to see your reaction to the stealth. Well, I am somewhat interested in Spider-Man. But I'll play and thank you Feline King for the super chat. I will play it when I get the chance. It's just in the summertime I'm really busy. I gotta get Metal Gear Solid 2 done, Delta, and then the Mafia games, and then Mafia: The Old Country. Is Tony Cipriani the highest kill count? Yeah, the thing about Tony Cipriani is none of the other GTA characters come close to his body count. Like, Tony Cipriani has thousands of people that he's killed. Thousands. So, like, nobody comes close to Tony Cipriani's kill count. Nobody. You know, nobody comes close. Not even Claude comes close to it when you think about it, too. So it's like, yeah, nobody comes close to Tony's kill count. These cards suck. Thank you, Feline King. You think Don Percival, the leader of Merryweather, will become one of the main antagonists of GTA 6? It's a possibility. We might see them in GTA 6. They might come back. I don't think Claude would have killed Salvatore if Salvatore hadn't betrayed him. Because Claude likes positions of power. He would have had a pretty good position with the Leones. No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see any of the characters come back. I think we'll see side characters, but none of the main characters. Queen and 10. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this here. Why did they go in with those cards? Oh, he has good cards, but he doesn't have a pair. Oh my god, the guy with the 2 and the 7-1. Oh my god, that's by chance because he got like such lucky cards. Oh my god. Oh my god, he had like the worst hand, but he got so lucky with. Damn. Okay. He got so lucky. Oh man. I think I know the movie you're talking about, but I think that was in Laos, Mason, where that happened. But I think I'm probably gonna I think I'm gonna probably wrap up the stream here, guys. Probably get something to eat here still. Is there anything you guys want to ask me here before I go? Do I get tornadoes in my area? Yeah, sometimes. But it usually happens like April, May, or June, but yeah. Tomorrow's my birthday. Happy birthday, Jobby. Wish everyone wish Jobby a happy birthday. No, come on, dude. Have I seen the first Die Hard movie a long time ago? Yes. Great stream, Pro. Thank you, DHC. Who do I think is worse, Activision or EA? I don't know, honestly. It's just both of them very scummy, greedy companies. Wait, what, Emily? I'll look into it, Zach. Resistance was too strong, Steve. They couldn't take it. What's your question, Mr. Hopkins? I'll see why, I am him. Oh, okay, Emily. Livia Soprano is a psychopath, yes. Do they wipe out Agent 47's miner, or is there multiple clones of him? It's confusing, because... Well, 47... every clone has a number. 47 is his number, so there can't be another Agent 47, because he's... That's his clone number. Say they Adler after 1907. They could do that. Yeah, I could see them do something like that. But I just don't want any more prequels, personally. That's it. I loved Red Dead Redemption 2, but I don't want another prequel, though. I want, like, new characters not knowing what's going to happen, because everybody who played Red Dead Redemption 1 knew how Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to end. We knew what was going to eventually happen. We didn't know how Arthur was necessarily going to die. We figured he probably was, because a lot of these characters don't come back, and we know what happens to Dutch. He goes mad in the first game, so it was, yeah, that's what I'll say about it. Yeah. Trying to play with free aim. This is what trying to play with free aim is like. No, got him, okay. No, I don't, Emu. Thank you, for stopping by, Golden Stripe. Well, I mean, I like to play a lot of these games for nostalgia, Tribal. Oh my god, yeah. Killing animals will cause Harriet to become increasingly upset with people. They're attacking me. Okay. I'm gonna be finishing Yakuza 0 this week coming up. You ever played the Orange Box before? It's a Valve bundle that contains Half-Life 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal 1. I played Portal 1 and Team Fortress 2, but I never played Half-Life 2. But we're gonna be playing Half-Life very soon. But, playing on a controller on PC is basically hacking since you have auto-aim. Really, there's auto-aim with the controller. I didn't know that. Thoughts on Fallout New Vegas? It's a great game. It's one of the best Fallout games. People say it's probably the best one, too. I love Fallout. Kind of excited for the new season also. But I guess I'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and we will stream again GTA Online on Sunday. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll have another Brothers in Arms video for you tomorrow. Thank you again. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, guys.